You finally get the promotion. You see the new salary in writing, and you feel a rush of relief. You tell yourself the struggle is over. You tell yourself that now, finally, you will start building real wealth. But then, 12 months pass. You look at your bank account, and the money is gone. You haven't gambled it away. You haven't made any catastrophic mistakes. But somehow, despite earning thousands of dollars more than you did last year, you feel exactly the same. This is the quietest, most frustrating paradox of modern financial life. We are taught that the cure to financial stress is simply a higher income. But for most people, a higher income doesn't eliminate financial stress. It simply finances a more expensive version of it. I want you to think about how you manage your money right now. Most of us practice something called bank balance accounting. We open our apps, we look at the number on the screen, and subconsciously our brains calculate how much of that number we can safely consume. If the number is low, we panic and pull back. If the number is high, we relax, we treat ourselves, we upgrade our flights, we say yes to the expensive dinner. At the time, every single purchase feels justified, but this behavior is driven by an invisible psychological trap. In 1955, a British historian named Cyril Northcote Parkinson wrote an essay for The Economist. He made a simple observation about human behavior. Work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. If you have 2 weeks to finish a project, it takes 2 weeks. If you are given 8 weeks, it takes 8 weeks. This became known as Parkinson's law. But Parkinson's law doesn't just apply to time. It is the absolute governing law of your money. The financial version of Parkinson's law states, expenses always rise to match income. Put simply, the more we make, the less we keep. When your income grows, your desires automatically expand to fill the new space. You stop seeing a $15 lunch as a luxury and start seeing it as a baseline. You move from the reliable used car to the least luxury SUV. Your spending expands like a gas filling a room. This is why 4 out of 10 Americans making over $500,000 a year still report living paycheck to paycheck. They have fallen victim to the illusion that willpower can beat human nature. It cannot. You cannot out-earn Parkinson's law. If you operate on the default financial timeline, you will always be broke, no matter how much you make. The default timeline is this: you earn, you spend, and you hope there is something left to save. But because of Parkinson's law, there is never anything left. To break the law, you do not need more discipline. You need a different sequence. In Japan, there is a cultural financial habit called Chokin. Translated directly, it means savings, but in practice, it represents a profound structural shift in how a life is financed. The traditional Japanese household does not save what is left over at the end of the month. They follow a different order of operations: earn, save, then spend what remains. The difference sounds like semantics. It sounds like a simple play on words, but psychologically, it changes everything. When savings come first, your lifestyle naturally contracts to fit the remaining amount. When savings come last, your expenses endlessly expand to consume the total. Think about a typical earner making $4,800 a month after taxes. Under the Western model, they spend throughout the month constantly checking their bank balance. They pay their rent, their utilities, their subscriptions, they buy the coffee, they order the delivery. By the 28th of the month, the account is nearly empty, and they manage to save perhaps $144. Now, imagine that same earner applies the Chokin sequence. The morning after payday, an automated transfer moves 20%, $960, out of their checking account. It goes into an investment account or a high-yield savings account. They never see it. Their brain never registers it as available capital. Their spending reality instantly becomes $3,840. For the first month, it feels a little tight, but the human brain is remarkably adaptable when the option to spend simply does not exist. They adjust. They still live well. But after a year, instead of saving $1,728, they have saved and invested over $11,500. Same job, same city, same life. The only variable that changed was the sequence. This is why credit card debt is nearly non-existent in Japan compared to the West. It isn't because they earn more, the median income is actually lower. It is because they have structurally broken Parkinson's law. You can apply this exact principle to your life today. It does not require a spreadsheet. It does not require you to stop enjoying your money. It simply requires you to become the architect of your own friction. First, you must artificially lower your income. The easiest way to avoid spending everything you make is to convince your brain that you make less. If you're a high earner struggling to build wealth, you must pretend you aren't. Set up an automated transfer that executes the day after your paycheck clears. Move that money into an account at a completely different bank. Remove the app for that second bank from your phone. When you check your daily balance, you will only see what is truly available to spend. Your brain will naturally adapt its consumption to the smaller number. Second, apply the 50% rule to all future growth. Financial author Brian Tracy offers a brilliant defense against lifestyle inflation. Whenever you get a raise, a bonus, or an unexpected windfall, save and invest exactly 50% of it. You can use the other 50% to upgrade your lifestyle. This satisfies your psychological need for a reward, while mathematically guaranteeing that your wealth grows faster than your expenses. Finally, shift your definition of what a savings account actually is. We are taught to view savings as a sacrifice. We see it as money we aren't allowed to enjoy today. But this is a flawed perspective. Money sitting in an investment account is not dead money. It is buying you something far more valuable than a luxury car or a designer wardrobe. It is buying you optionality. It is buying you the ability to walk away from a toxic manager. It is buying you the freedom to take 6 months off to care for a sick parent. It is buying you the space to breathe. Most people use their money to build a lifestyle they eventually need to escape from. When you implement the Chokin sequence, you stop building a cage. You start building a foundation. You realize that true wealth isn't about the numbers flashing on a screen. It is about the deep, quiet confidence of knowing that no matter what happens tomorrow, you are going to be fine. You don't need a massive income to achieve this. You just need to move the money before the month begins.